Easier way to follow this is boundaries gives you space. Space gives you peace. Peace gives you clarity. And once you have clarity, it opens up your eyes to who is actually genuine and who isn't. A lot of people confuse peace for being lonely or feeling isolated, which is why for so many years in their lives, they will reject the idea of peace and they will keep the wrong people entertained in their lives. In this video, I'm going to be going into a little bit more depth as to what your life can actually look like when you are living peacefully, or as peaceful as it can be in today's world, without those toxic energy vampires in your life. What is up, people? Welcome back or to another video. For those of you who are brand new around here, a very warm welcome. I am super grateful to have you all join us. Now we are going to be talking about the topic of peace and what that actually looks like. It will look different for different people. Everybody has their own idea of kind of what a so-called peaceful life looks like. For some people, it's living in the countryside or living in a little cottage somewhere with minimal to no interaction with people. And for other people, it may mean just not entertaining energy vampires and not having those friends, partners, family members who just suck the living daylights out of you and leave you in the red all the time. A lot of people, specifically women, it's kind of always projected onto us from a very young age that peace is wrong and peace will feel unsafe. That is why a lot of the time, especially on TV, like in films, in soaps, in, dramas that you watch on TV, you'll notice that they're always portraying people living very chaotic lives. And this is the forefront of what we see on TV most of the time. And there's very good reason for that. And that is simply because that's the lifestyle that's constantly portrayed to us and made to look so-called normal. Now, I'm not saying you're going to go through life and you're not going to have chaotic moments or chaotic incidences or negative things happen to you, because that's obviously going to happen at some point. It's more so about keeping peace within yourself. I'm going to hold your hand when I say this, but if you're someone who's decided to choose peace, or you're going to choose peace over drama and chaos all the time, or negativity or toxic friends and family, then you are unfortunately going to lose people, and people aren't going to like you. And that is because we are so accustomed as a society to entertain drama and chaos all the time that when you stick your middle finger up to that and you choose yourself and living authentically and peacefully, people aren't going to take it very well. But fortunately for you, you are going to start living a better life. You are going to be more authentic to yourself. You are going to feel happier within yourself, more relaxed. But initially, that peace and that relaxation is going to maybe feel unfamiliar. If you're someone who's grown up in a very chaotic household or a chaotic situation where it's normal for people to be dysfunctional or emotionally unavailable or toxic, then we grow up thinking and feeling that that environment is completely normal. It doesn't matter how bad it is for our health and our mental health, we think that's normal. So if you've grown up around chaos, you're going to subconsciously try and create that everywhere you go. 95% of our actions are unfortunately in the subconscious. So whatever is stored in there is how we behave. That can be in workplaces, in relationships, in friendships, absolutely anywhere. So what a lot of people do is when they're trying to find that peace and that comfort and they're trying to live authentically, initially that will feel very uncomfortable. And sometimes it feels so uncomfortable that you will revert back to whatever is feeling comfortable. And that's the chaos, the drama, the toxicity. We know it's not good for us, but we initially want to turn away from it, but we just can't. Why? Because that's comfort. That is all we know. If all you know is chaos and drama, you're going to seek that every single place you go, because the subconscious is seeking comfort. It's not seeking change. It's seeking to keep you as comfortable and as safe as possible. And if that chaotic situation is what's so-called safe, that's what you're honestly gonna start creating. And I did this for many years and I did not realize I was doing it. I used to do it in work situations all the time, and I would job hop thinking the next place is going to be so much better and I'm going to do XYZ. And boom, I ended up in exactly the same scenario as I was in the last place. And that's when I really started to do the inner work and be like, right, something needs to change, and it starts with me. This is why so many people stay in very difficult situations, either with parents or partners, family, friends, etc. And they put up with it. And sometimes it's because, I think it's because of two main reasons anyway. One, they're terrified of being alone or without that person or people. Or second of all, and this one's definitely for my ladies, you don't want to be called the difficult one. And trust me, as a woman, as soon as you start choosing yourself and your own inner peace and clarity, it's going to be really triggering for a lot of people around you, because as women, we're constantly told from birth, you need to be like really understanding, you need to be there for everyone, you need to have more empathy, more understanding, etc. The second you put a boundary down, you suddenly have no empathy. The second you put a boundary down, guess who's the fucking bitch? But I don't want you to watch this and have that put you off, because that's just a minor inconvenience for a life of peace and tranquility afterwards. In my video I did regarding why I no longer allow religious people in my life, I did speak about removing certain toxic energies from my energy field. And a lot of people had said that they were in similar situations, and what can they do? And, you know, what does it actually feel like once you remove certain toxic people from your life? And whilst I'm not a therapist and I'm certainly don't have all the answers, only you can take the best course of action for you and your life. I can just tell you from my experience of what it's like removing certain toxic people from my life and what I feel I've gained from it, from the top 3 pointers that I'm about to share. Peace looks like clarity. When you're in a state of peace, you can see clearer and hear clearer and feel things clearer. Now, a lot of big organizations and groups and demographics in the patriarchy, for example, they only thrive and benefit when you have no clarity, specifically as a woman, because they only benefit from women who are in a constant state of stress, anxiety, uncertainty, chaos. These are the things that keep women outside of their intuition, where they don't have any peace, they don't have any inner peace, they don't have any clarity. If you don't have that inner peace, you don't have any clarity, because you can't see clearly. You can only see through the filter of bullshit that's in front of you. You can't actually see and think and feel clearly, and you're completely outside of your intuition. The easier way to follow this is boundaries gives you space. Space gives you peace. Peace gives you clarity. And once you have clarity, it opens up your eyes to who is actually genuine and who isn't. That is why abusive people will consistently keep their victim in a state of confusion, because it's an easy way to control them, to keep the wool pulled over their eyes, and to keep them out of their intuition and in a state of constant second-guessing themselves. Earlier on, I said that peace initially will feel uncomfortable, and it will. A lot of people assume that it's just going to feel like loneliness and be almost more anxiety inducing, but that couldn't be further from the truth. If you're not used to relaxing, putting yourself first, giving yourself grace, allowing yourself to feel peace, then those things are going to feel almost dangerous to you, because your nervous system is not accustomed to those things. So it's really important that when you're first seeking out this peace, that you give yourself grace, because you are going to start feeling these things. And initially, you're going to just want to run away and go back to whatever it is that's familiar, even if you know it's not good for you. Once you get that clarity, you can open your eyes and ears and your senses and be like, right, this is what I truly want from people around me. This is what I truly want out of life. This is how I want to live. I don't want to do X, Y, Z anymore. I want to be in a state of this from now on. And then you get to actually choose and navigate what you want to do, think, feel in your life. What does peace actually look like in your life? Because a lot of people don't know what that feels like. They've never had that in their lives. What I would say it feels like, you have more time and energy for the things and the people who bring you joy in life. You have more time and energy for better opportunities. In fact, better opportunities come into your life because you stop entertaining the stupidity and the bullshit from people and situations which are only bringing you stress and anxiety. You actually start bringing in things and people into your life who are gonna help you grow, who are gonna give you good opportunities, who you're gonna benefit from, and they're gonna benefit from you in the best ways possible. You start to actually see things, situations, people through a much clearer lens. So when you get into that peace and that tranquility, you start to actually see things and people and situations for what they actually are. See it kind of like in the analogy of getting new glasses from the opticians. And you know, when you finally put them on and you think, wow, where have these been all my life? Why have I not been wearing these before? I can literally see everything so clearly. And just remember, this is going to look different for everybody. And also give yourself grace, because if you've been in a situation or a scenario recently where you've had to remove toxic people, or you've had to go no contact, or you've had to break relationships up, whether they're friendships or romantic relationships, this is going to feel hard at first. It's tough. It's not easy. And it's not a situation or a decision that actually people make lightly. Everybody seems to talk about this online as if, you know, we just sever them off with a guillotine, but it's not always the case for everyone. When I've cut people out of my life, it's taken me sometimes years to get rid of that person. I haven't done it overnight in the click of a finger. It's been a very difficult decision for me because I initially haven't wanted to do that, but I've been forced to protect my own peace and my own mental health. So it's not always easy than people make out on the internet, like, oh, I'm just going to cut them out like tomorrow. I'm just going to go and block their number. It doesn't work like that all the time. Maybe for some people, but honestly, a lot of people I've spoken to about removing toxic people, it's actually been a really hard decision, especially if they're family. You know, I love hearing from you guys. So share your experiences down below. What does peace look like for you? What is it looking like for you right now? Maybe you've made some changes this year. Maybe you're planning to make some changes in the new year. Let us know down below. Thank you so much for joining. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give this video a massive thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.